and welcome back to my channel, and I am here today to film the first of two tag videos that I have been tagged in. The first I have been seeing going around the community for quite some time. I thought uncharacteristically I'll be polite and wait to see if someone tags me, and hooray, Sean from the wonderful channel Lost in the Reel tagged me in the subgenre, the horror subgenre tag. So let's get kicked straight on with that one. So this tag is basically a load of horror subgenres and you need to choose your favourite from that subgenre. This was originated by Hellhound from the Horror Metal channel, so to give credit to the tag's originator, and let's get stuck in. So number one is the slasher genre. Now this isn't one of my favourite genres in horror. I do like the Halloween movies, I do like the Friday the 13th movies, but for me I'm going to choose one of my all-time favourites, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for the slasher genre. Nothing, it's just barbaric, it's terrifying, I love it, I love the grittiness of it. I saw it many years ago on a really bad VHS copy, and I think it added to the experience, to be honest with you. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre for slasher. You will see me look down. I'm looking at the categories. Second category is home invasion movies. I noticed on watching other people's videos for this, The Strangers has rated really highly. It wasn't a movie that I was overly keen on, to be honest with you. The movie that stands out for me far and away in this category is a Spanish movie called Secuestrados, which means kidnapped. If you haven't seen it, it's a 2010 movie and it is excellent. It's pretty brutal, it's full on, but it's a fantastic home invasion movie. So Secuestrados is my favourite home invasion movie. Next, one of my favourites and one of most people's least favourite categories is the found footage horror. I lap these up, I watch them good and bad. So I have to give a few special mentions because this is a category I love. I'm a big fan of the REC, the Record Spanish movies. The Last Broadcast I really liked. When it first came out, The Blair Witch, I was a massive fan. A slightly lesser known one I want to mention is one brought to my attention by Leo from Geek Legion of Doom, which is his favourite found footage, which is called Borderlands. The end of that movie is just fantastic, so I know a lot of people haven't seen it, so Borderlands if you haven't. First Paranormal Activity movie, oh my goodness, that will come up later, so I may keep it for another category. But the one I'm plumping for in this for my favourite found footage movie is an Australian movie by the title The Tunnel. I found this genuinely really creepy and some of the imagery really frightened me, so that has to go for my favourite found footage movie. Next is the zombie genre. Now I'm a big fan of zombie movies. Let me move you around. So you can probably see a nice picture up there and a nice couple of dolls up there and a bit of a head as well, but never mind that. That's a Romero up on the top of the shelf. Just thought I'd give you a little view of some of my zombie stuff. But my answer to this, now my husband is a massive Romero fan, Dawn of the Dead is his favourite movie. For me, it has to go to Fulci's Zombie. Something about that movie from the first time I saw it, and just generally Fulci as a director, I absolutely love. I'm aware there are sort of like the 28 Days a Night movies. I love the fast zombie, I find it really scary. But there's just something about the style of the old original zombie movie. Zombie by Fulci for me. Okay, onto the vampire genre. Now, this is one, I don't know, I do like a vampire movie, but they're so seldomly done well. I do love Interview with the Vampire, but it's very romanticised. And for me, now as I say, I love the movie, I think it's fantastic, but when I watch a vampire movie, I want to watch frightening, visceral. The 30 Days of Night vampires for that, absolutely fantastic, amazing. And also the setting with all the white of the snow juxtaposed with the blood just looks absolutely fabulous. But I have to give this one to the original, not the remake, Let the Right One In. There was just something genuinely eerie and frightening about that movie. And that scene in the swimming pool is just brutal. So Let the Right One In is my first choice for vampire movie. Torture porn. Do I need to tell anyone what my favourite torture porn movie is? I never was a massive fan of the Hostel movies. I don't mind them. But Saw for me all day long. I will watch as much of it as you throw at me. My favourite is the first, very predictably I know, but Saw is my favourite torture porn movie. Werewolf. Right, should I take you up and move you about again? Okay, just once. So look no further than up there. Not at my thing that needs painted in the corner for my favourite werewolf movie. Yes. Should have really shown you that one for my last answer. So, yeah. I've got the zombie one, I've got the Saw one, we've got American Werewolf in London over there, obviously The Walking Dead's up there. So for me, as they say with Highlander, there can only be one. My favourite werewolf movie, far and away, it has to be American Werewolf in London. I know we have a camp that would say The Howling. For me, just the memories I have of American Werewolf from when I was really young, the transformation scene, in my opinion, has yet to this day, all these years later, has not been beaten. Everything about it, the music in the background, the movie's just incredible. There is not one thing wrong with that movie. I will give a special mention to two other werewolf movies, Dog Soldiers, which I thought was fantastic, a nice gritty little British werewolf movie, and Ginger Snaps, which I suppose is kind of like a coming of age movie, but love both of those movies as well. Sci-fi, right. Immediately when you say sci-fi horror to me, my brain will automatically go to Aliens. I love the Alien movie, but I prefer Aliens. I think it's the character of Ripley in Aliens really properly badass comes into her own, which is why I choose Aliens. There is a little alien floating about somewhere there in the background. I'm not entirely sure where he is, so I'm not going to look for him. But I have to give a special mention to a quite recent sci-fi horror by the name of Annihilation, which there's a scene in that with a bear, which is just incredible. I think I would consider it sci-fi horror, but if not, let's just settle on the old favourite of Aliens. Two more to go, folks. So the next category is probably my next, I would say maybe tied. Found footage and foreign horror are probably my two favourites. I have so many movies in this I could talk about. If you consider these to be horror, Itchy the Killer, Old Boy, Suicide Club. I'm a big fan of Asian horror cinema. I adored the original Ring movie, completely creepy. Ju-on, the original Grudge, just something about the creepiness that they managed to convey. Martyrs, obviously, love it. High Tension, which when I watched it was called Switchblade Romance, so it must have two titles. But I have to give this one to I Saw the Devil, which I just think is an incredible piece of cinema on every level. So that is my favourite foreign horror movie. And finally, you will be glad to hear, and you may have guessed this one, paranormal movie. I did make a mention of Paranormal Activity earlier. It almost reaches my top one, but I just want to mention the one scene that just still gives me shivers. I hate it. I love it at the same time is the scene when the foot is hanging out of the bed or just out from under the covers, and an unseen force pulls her off the bed and out the door, and off she disappears, and then what follows. I just find it terrifying, because if there's anything in this life I'm frightened of, ghosts and the paranormal is number one on that list. Terrifies me. I want to make a special mention of the movie The Orphanage, which I just think is a beautiful movie. You can do ghost movies and they're beautiful, which that is, but I'm going to give my number one paranormal movie to Poltergeist. Purely because as a child when I saw that, it's the first movie that genuinely terrified me. I couldn't walk up the stairs to bed in the dark for years, literally. When I would get out of bed to put my bedroom light out at night, I would have to run back to the bed really fast, most of the time with my eyes shut. Poltergeist it was just that era in the 80s when I was a kid, and it terrified me. So yeah, my top paranormal movie must go to Poltergeist. So massive thanks to the lovely Sean for tagging me, and to Hellhound for the tag. I am now going to pass the tag on to 5 individuals. Now I've decided to try and keep this in the UK because most of the entries, not all, but a lot of them I've seen have been from the US. I want to spread it about a bit more, so I've got a list here. And I also thought I'm going to try to tag people I haven't tagged before. If you don't want to do this, or if tags isn't your thing, obviously no obligation. I just thought I would give you the opportunity. So I am tagging Jamie Powell, Jason Bratt, For the Love of Movies, Magpie Movies with Geordie Paul, and JT at the Movies. So that's 5 tags going out for the subgenre tag. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of any of my choices, if you would have chosen different things. Obviously, I'm sure Hellhound would say feel free to do the tag even if you haven't been tagged. It's fun to see what other people choose, and you may just find a couple of little movies, little gems in there that you hadn't seen. I did from watching Sean's, and there are a couple that I added to my list. So thanks guys, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Over and out from Lisa Loves.